ball? Oh, it was right here? The way you work it, right?
Huh?
The way you work it. So what about Esau?
Huh?
He said, what about Esau? Esau can't be scared.
What did what did Lamont already say? He edifying his temple. The Lord shall smite thee with madness.
Deuteronomy 28:28.
It makes sense.
Yeah, we can real quick.
Anybody got any topics?
Yeah, Ecclesiastes 15 and
Sirach 15.
no. Second Ezra. Second Ezra is 15 and 1.
It's something like
No, Ecclesiastes is 15 and 1. I'm sitting right here. I'm staring at you. I'm gonna give you.
Hold on, let's talk about this later. All right. It says Sirach 15 and what?
15 and 1.
It said, "He that feareth the Lord will do good, and he that hath the knowledge of the law shall obtain her."
Read that again, huh?
It said, "He that feareth the Lord will do good."
Well, hold on. He that feareth the Lord will do good. Why? Because he's afraid of the judgment that's going to come from the Lord. Simple. When you fear the Lord, you respect what could happen. It's called having a proper understanding of how consequence works.
Like these devils out here. I mean, I say devils. I mean, some of the. I mean, the 2/3 too. Right. They got more fear for Esau than Yahweh.
That's true.
They won't commit a crime or rob a bank if Esau around. But as soon as Esau is not around, they'll do all kinds of wickedly. Now knowing that Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, he's always watching and they're doing these things. They got more respect for this devil and his laws than Yahweh's laws and him watching all the time.
So, what does that go to show you about the way of the 2/3? You know what I'm saying? To you, that's good. They got no respect for the Lord. They don't fear him. Go ahead.
Sirach chapter 15 verse 1.
Here we go.
He that feareth the Lord will do good, and he that hath the knowledge of the law shall obtain her.
He that hath the knowledge of the Lord shall obtain her. Obtain who? Right? He that hath the knowledge of the Lord shall obtain wisdom. Wisdom shall be the stability of our times, okay? Wisdom. So right now, what we're doing is we're imparting unto the people wisdom. We're telling the people, fear the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And again, we're only out here for the elect, okay?
I think that's it says, and as a mother shall she meet him and receive him as a wife married of a virgin. With the bread of understanding shall she feed him and give him water of wisdom to drink. He shall stay.
Was that the end of that one? Or was it another one? I mean, was that the end of that one right there?
I mean, this is pretty good. It's probably good. It says, he shall be stayed upon her and shall not be moved, and shall rely upon her and shall not be confounded. She shall exalt him above his neighbors, and in the midst of the congregation shall she open his mouth.
Read it again. Drop.
Thus, Ecclesiasticus 15 and 1.
No. From
15 and 4. It says, he shall be stayed upon her and shall not be moved, and shall rely upon her and shall not be confounded.
we're gonna remain. We're gonna stick to these scriptures and live by them. And we're gonna study them. They say, study to show thyself approved. So we're gonna believe in it, and we're gonna build a strong foundation, and we're gonna be built up in it. So we're not gonna be confounded. Because a true man of the Lord won't be confounded. He's gonna stick to the scriptures 100%. He's not gonna go off. He's gonna stick to the scriptures and not fall on anything else. Because the scriptures is a book that stands alone. It don't need anything else. Like the Quran or the Book of Mormon. We don't need any of that. We're going to stick to the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the Apocrypha, and we're not going to be confounded.
Slide, bear with me for a second. Sirach 15:5. It says, she shall exalt him above his. Verse 4. It says, he shall be stayed upon her and shall not be moved, and shall rely upon her and shall not be confounded. It says, she shall exalt him above his neighbors, and in the midst of the congregation shall she open his mouth.
We're going to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. The elect is going to be above the neighbors, which is these 2/3. We're going to be above them, and on top of that, we're going to be preaching the word to the congregation, which is going to be the 1/3, which is going to be the believers, and they're going to believe to what we say. They might not be out here preaching the word with the prophets, but they're going to still believe in what we're saying and try to follow the laws.
I mean, I think it's pretty much. All right, just keep going. All right. It says, he shall find joy and a crown of gladness, and she shall cause him to inherit an everlasting name.
Now that,
Sorry. We'll keep going. All right. It says, but foolish men shall not attain unto her, and sinners shall not see her.
Right.
we're going to.
Right. Because at the end of the day, foolish men won't be able to, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Foolish men will not be able to relate to her. See what I'm saying? You can't get water from a well that's dry. You understand what I'm saying? Read that again, bro. Can't get water from a well that's dry.
It said, but foolish men shall not attain unto her, and sinners shall not see her.
Why? Because sinners, you see what I'm saying, are doing contrary to the scriptures. Remember, anything that is considered sin is what? Punishable by death. Any man that sinneth transgresseth the law. This is, once again, this is why we're of such a contrite spirit. Because we're trying to attain her, this word, these scriptures. Stand, bro.
Hold on.
Yeah, he's doing that poor guy.
We'll bring this out real quick.
I mean, it's a little bit more.
No, it's just on our point. This Proverbs 18:2. A fool have no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. When the wicked cometh, then cometh also contempt, and with ignominy reproach.
Read that again. And I thought it was empty, but yeah, get that again. Proverbs.
It's Proverbs 18:2. A fool have no delight in understanding.
A fool hath no delight in understanding, okay? Because a fool doesn't want to study. You understand? A fool believes, like the scriptures say, the fool believeth in his heart there is no God. Alright? Yeah, dog.
It says, "For she is far from pride, and men that are liars cannot remember her." It says, "Praise is not seemly in the mouth of sinners, for it was not sent him of the Lord." That's it.
So what is it that you guys are preaching?
That's your. All right. That's your woman.
Sister.
Sister.
You got a man?
I don't know why that's relevant to what we're talking about.
Who got that?
Just want to know about what you guys are talking about.
So this First Timothy. So to start at the point. Hold on, I think it's in
Yeah, just skip the point like this. 2:15. 2 Timothy 2:15.
All right. I'm sorry. So 2 Timothy chapter 2 verse 11. All right, I'll start at 9. It's 9. All right. There's 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. In like manner also that the women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh woman professing godliness with good works. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence.
That's the point. So we're talking to you.
Okay.
You know what I
He has a
mean?
question.
It's you. You're the voice here, not. You know what I'm saying? So.
Okay. So, do you think that's a good way to encourage interaction with people, to not be cut yourself off from being able to interact with half the population?
What do you mean?
I mean, if you can't interact with and talk to women, I feel like they're an integral part of.
We can talk to women as long as they don't have men.
Okay. So if I were to leave, you could talk to them.
If we can, as long as the woman is not dealing with a man, in a relationship,
Okay.
we can talk to her. But if she's not, we can't deal with her.
And even within that, we're not supposed to be teaching the woman anything that we're doing right here. She has to be our wife. For us to, she has to be my wife then, so to speak. For
Okay,
us to be
real
able to
technical.
teach. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Can I hear that? Can I hear that verse again? Sorry, that's trouble.
First Timothy, the whole thing, or just get to the point?
Just whatever you think sums up our audience.
I'm gonna.
Sorry, I'll start at the top of it. So, all right, this 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. It says, "In like manner also that the women adorn themselves in modest apparel." You want to talk about the context of this?
Hold on. Go ahead.
So, do you want to tell the context?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and explain the context.
So 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 9. In like manner also that the women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broidered hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but which becometh a woman professing godliness with good works. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But
This is 1 Corinthians 14:34. Let your women keep silence in churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak,
That's the scripture.
but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also says the law. And if they will learn anything,
This is the point.
let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for a woman to speak in the church.
So you see what's going on here? This is the church. Not a building that you go to and sit in a pulpit and all this extra. No. This is the church right here. So when it comes time for us to ever have to answer a question from a woman, the first thing we're gonna have to make sure we do, according to this word right here, is to make sure she is not bound by her husband. She's not married.
Because
Right?
imagine if a girl comes up here, she got a boyfriend, her boyfriend's at home, she asks us a question. Let's say she asks us, I'm just going to say randomly, she asks us if she can, not you, but the woman asks us if she can eat green eggs in hand, according to the Bible.
Okay.
And we tell her, no, you're not allowed to eat green eggs in hand, according to the Bible. She goes home to her husband and she tells her husband, "You lied to me. We're not allowed to eat green eggs and ham." Now we just created a division between a woman and her husband, in which we are. You're not allowed, a woman and our husband. That's supposed to be between them and nobody else. So we were to do that. We just created a division. That's why anything she's supposed to learn, she's supposed to learn at home with her husband.
But
You
can't
get
that,
that?
can't you promote that kind of like unity between couples without like having to say that one teaches the other?
Absolutely not.
Wait.
I mean, I got it in the ball.
Yeah, I was good. I was just. That's why I
Are you
was
talking
talking.
about
This is a-
50-50 kind of
this is a
thing?
precept. I mean,
I'm
hold
talking
on,
about like
this-
without having like a hierarchical kind of.
So you want
I mean, this is
Bible. Yeah.
real quick. I was gonna see what he says. So you're saying you want you think women and men like 50-50? Is that what you're saying? You want to be
50
like
like they both share the same amount of
Right,
relationship,
50-50,
and
women and men,
they
50-50.
contribute. Yeah, so it's an interaction as opposed to.
All right, this is Genesis chapter 3, verse 16. It says, "Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee."
That's the answer to that question right there.
I mean, this is basically, or you want to explain the context?
let's say you got a boss, right? He's sitting in the office, right? And you're just his worker. Are y'all on the same level?
Yeah.
That's what this is saying right here.
Okay.
The husband is supposed to rule over the wife.
Now, yeah, kind of. Now, the context to that scripture, right?
Yes.
Adam and Eve, right, got cursed, right? If you ever read that scripture, right, you would know that the woman caused that. You understand what I'm saying? When the Lord told Adam and Eve not to eat of the tree, the serpent came down, and who did the serpent beguile? The serpent beguiled Adam or Eve?
Eve first.
So when Eve was beguiled of the serpent, right? What did Eve do?
She went and walked out.
And then what did she do to him? She got him to sin, right?
But I mean, the
Yeah.
thing was, he never should have like listened to her. He should have
At
listened
all.
to both
To
sides.
the Most
Yeah,
High.
I feel like it's taking some agency away from the guy as well, saying that like it's not their fault that they're doing these things. That it's like they're being tempted by a woman. Like I think it's kind of taking agency away from both parties there.
But you know things aren't 50-50 according to the Bible, right?
Okay.
You know that.
Well, I have another question. So are you very like just like in your interpretation of the Bible? Are you literalist? Like you believe the Bible is like?
Wait. So basically, what you're saying is, do we believe a snake was talking in the garden? Is that what you asking?
Well, not just that, but like, do you believe that like what the story of the Bible tells, like the story of Adam and Eve, are literal?
Here's what I say about. I think that's what you're saying now. There are some things in the Bible that sound crazy that are literal. Yes. Now there are some things in the Bible that sounds like I don't see what I want to use. Like magical. Now some things that sounds magical
Or
and
like
it's being a
outside
literal
your
sense.
experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's meaning a literal sense. And there's some things that's talking about a parable. Like it's written in code. Like the serpent. It's not talking about there was a literal snake talking to people. It was talking about a person. It was talking about a person that was like what you know, a person like you can't trust, that stabs you in the back. Like, what do you call that person? A snake, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's talking about here. It was a person that was like very crafty. That's what it's talking about right here in Genesis.
Read this, Ecclesiastes chapter 25.
Oh yeah. Synagogue.
That's another one. If you can find that, that would be sweet. Read that out.
Which one?
Ecclesiastes chapter 25 and 24. Read what that says.
This Ecclesiastes verse 25 and 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all died.
That's according to the scriptures.
All right.
That's literal. This is actually saying a literal fact.
Yeah.
This is true. The
Okay.
woman is the beginning of sin. This is why the scriptures say that it is a sin for a woman to speak or to usurp authority over the man, because it was by the woman sin came into the earth. You see what I'm saying? That's according to the Bible. This is actually literal. This did happen, right? Now, in order for you to understand, in order for you to understand the legitimacy of this, it has to be spiritual. It has to be given to you. You understand what I'm saying?
the word, like the scripture has to be given to you, or the ideas?
The understanding of the scriptures has to be given unto you. The Lord himself has to actually have imparted that unto you.
So you're saying that like us reading it is simply enough, like our understanding has to be shaped by God?
I got you.
Yeah. Go ahead and get it. You already have.
Well, I mean, the one about sin out all.
Yeah. Go ahead and bring it. Yeah, bring that.
Sin out all.
Bring that. You sit at
Wait.
Get it. That's all.
No, we just deal strictly with our heritage.
Okay.
Go ahead and bring it.
So Ecclesiasticus chapter 8. I'm sorry. Ecclesiasticus chapter 9, verse 9. It says, "Sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thine arms, and spend not thy money with her at the wine, lest thine heart incline unto her, and so do thy desire, thou fall into destruction."
You hear that?
Yeah. So these are from
wait.
apocryphal books, right?
No, this is.
This is
One he read was from the Apocrypha.
that is.
So I was just wondering, like, what's at least I don't have a lot of experience with apocryphal books, but like from my experience, what I've been taught about them is kind of like they're not always in line with what the rest of the Bible is saying. Like they don't always fit totally into like the message.
Wait, before we answer that, I'm gonna get what you just said before this.
Okay.
What you just said before that. This is Acts 8:30. And Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Isaiah, and said, understandest thou what thou readest? So they was asking the guy, he was reading the Bible. And the prophet asked him, do you understand what you're reading? And he said, how can I, except some man should guide me? How can I understand the Bible unless some man should guide me? Because you said, isn't reading it enough? He was reading the Bible and he didn't understand it. He needed a prophet to guide him and understand what's going on in the Bible. What was what you brought up before? The first precept.
Nehemiah chapter 8.
You getting it?
Yeah, I got it. You got it already. Yeah.
So I mean, from my perspective, I think.
Hold on, wait, real quick.
Yeah. Go.
So Nehemiah 8:8. It says, "So they read in the book in the law of God distinctly, and gave the sense, and caused them to understand the reading."
So this is the prophets right here. When they read the people, they will read it, and obviously, and we right now I can have you read something, or I can read it to you, and you wouldn't even understand what's going on. So we're out here to read it to the people, and to give them sense of what it's talking about. There's some things you can read, but you won't understand because everybody aren't given understanding of everybody's around.
Basically, see, the Lord gave certain people the understanding, so they in turn would teach other people.
No. I got the scripture.
Just to prove that point. Yeah.
So Amos 3:7. It says, "Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets."
That's how we're able to teach, because the Lord revealed that to us.
Okay, so you think like the Lord reveals to certain people, and those people are like responsible to go out and give that kind of perspective to other people.
I'll show you right now.
Yeah, because he's not giving his own perspective. He's giving the perspective of him that told him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So how do we like, if someone tells me that they have this kind of like this truth or perspective, like how do you confirm that, or like how do you kind of work through? Because anybody can claim that they have, like, a lot of people claim that they have know what God's talking about. So how do you work through that?
See who's telling the truth and who's not?
Yeah.
You line it up with the scriptures. You line up what they say in the scriptures. Like they say, who they call Jesus died for everybody. If anybody tell you that, they don't understand the Bible. Because that's a lie. He didn't die for everybody. And everybody can't be saved. And nobody is saved yet. If anybody tell you they are saved, or Jesus died for everybody, you don't listen to them, because those are two big lies that people tell everybody. It's a lie. Or God loves everybody, or God is all love. Another lie.
Furthermore, that's confirmed in the spirit. You understand?
Am I
what
allowed
mean?
to talk now?
That's confirmed in the spirit.
No, they won't let
That's
me
not
talk.
something.
That's the point.
That's not
They
something
don't give
that
power
you know what I'm
away
saying.
Because they know how power works.
That's not something that the scriptures teach. If it's not according to the book, it has no value. It's not true.
What book?
You see what I'm saying?
What book?
You got something, bro?
You got something to say?
I got something right here.
You got something to say?
What do you base the idea that God does not love everybody?
I got you right here.
Okay.
This is
I got you.
I've been waiting to hear this whole
This is
time. but You don't
Romans
say anything.
9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved. Now Jacob
His name's
is,
Jacob.
My name is
Look at
hopefully
that.
you're actually Jacob.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think
Jacob-
I'm actually
Did
Jacob.
you know
but-
this
You might
one?
be. Or who knows?
Yeah,
Jacob
knows.
got his name changed to Israel after he wrestled an angel.
Okay.
Now, when it says Jacob, it's talking about not only Jacob, but
talking about
exactly,
a bloodline.
it's talking about a
It's an
bloodline.
ancient
These
bloodline
exactly.
That's way more ancient
Exactly.
than what you're fucking talking about.
It's talking about these. I know. It's talking about these people on this line, on this sign.
Okay.
These are Jacob. Jacob have I loved, but
Tell me about the
Esau
bloodline.
have I hated.
Talk to me about the bloodline. I'm like,
So
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I enjoyed talking to you guys. Very productive, but I'm gonna head out. So I just
What you got?
last words. I'd encourage you to like listen. I think a lot of people, especially women, have a lot to say that's
That's a
worth
lie.
hearing. So
Genesis chapter 36, verse
look
8.
what happened to Adam.
It said, thus
it's
dwelt
conceptual.
Edom
Can you
in
not
Mount
get out
Seir.
of your mind?
Esau is
Are you
Edom.
never stepped
That's
outside
right.
of yourself?
Esau is Edom.
Have
The
you
word
never-
Edom
have you never
legitimately
thought of the
means
difference between
red.
what you're about?
Adawam in the Hebrew.
What
It's
who
red.
told you? Like, who told you? I want to know who told you stuff because I talk to you. I want to hear them.
Can we please cut her to pieces, please?
No, please tell me.
it's supposed to
I'm
be
waiting.
this-
I'm waiting to hear something I have not known.
She's not saying anything that's real.
Oh, really? Because I'm asking you to tell me something I don't know, and you can't even look at me in the eye because you think I'm gonna possess you or something?
You're a woman.
What does that mean?
That means you have
No,
That
please.
means you could be a possession.
By who?
That means you're a
By
possession.
who?
Not
Told
the
me
exact
who?
thing.
Told me who tell you that?
You're a possession.
You're a possession.
I want to know how that, because I know how it works.
you get
I've seen
Leviticus
some
20 and
shit.
13.
You're a woman.
That's your girlfriend,
Yeah.
right?
So that means that we don't think anything or have opinions.
No,
or have
that
knowledge?
means what you think doesn't matter. What
Oh,
you feel doesn't
Hold
matter.
that.
None of that matters.
Oh my gosh, you're part of the fucking
okay.
problem. That kind of
Say it to my
mindset
face.
is
Look
so
at me in the
close.
It
eye.
doesn't matter.
Look at me in the eye and say
It
it.
doesn't matter.
Look at me in the eye and tell me what you think.
Yeah, that's
Look
yeah.
at me
So I
in the
have
eye
to
and
value.
I'm about to show
Look
you
at
right
me
now
in
where
the
you're
eye
a
and tell me
possession.
what you think.
See stuff like this.
Why
Look
can't
me
you-
in the eye.
Yes,
Because we're
because
true.
I'm
Look me
meeting
in
you.
the
Because
eye.
I'm meeting you for real. And you're just following a man's
You are possessed
perspective,
by
dude.
something you don't even know.
You can't even tell
you
me.
You
know
know,
Lord is a
blind,
man.
you know, having hair like that is a curse, right?
You just,
I was born with this hair.
Exactly. Exactly what I'm saying.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
but what's
You
your
were born
bloodline? I
cursed.
want to know about your
This can't be-
bloodline.
this
I want to
can't
know
go
about your bloodline. Tell me about what's so great about your line.
You wanna hear about it?
Different than mine.
I'll show you.
Yeah,
Is this
go
how you
ahead.
I'm gonna
spread
show you
love
right
and
now.
light? Like,
No, I got it.
I'm waiting for it.
but you're trying to show
Because what you're
concubine, but it's
showing-
meant
Then
for.
what?
Ecclesiastes
So you're here to
36
just
and
talk to
24.
the men?
it's backwards
and the same thing
thinking.
You
got.
think the men are
Same
the
thing
ones
you
who are
got
going to
too.
save you? Did he save
But
you?
you're showing
Ecclesiastes
us
36 and
like
24.
not progressive in whatsoever.
Oh,
I can't even like.
I'm waiting to
Well,
hear
first
something
we'll bring
I
this out real
haven't
quick
heard. I'm
first.
waiting to hear something I haven't heard. I'm waiting because I've been staring at that Bible my whole life. But you act like I never fucking seen that thing.
All right, this Ecclesiasticus chapter 36, verse 24. It says, he that getteth a wife begetteth a possession.
What was that?
A help.
Read it back from the top.
This is Sirach 36 and 24.
Do you guys know
It
about
said,
biology?
he that getteth a wife
He did get up a
Do you
wife.
guys know about science?
He that
Do you guys
get-
know about
he that get a
chromosomes?
wife.
You have an
getteth
awesome
a
point.
Do you know
possession.
about
He that get a
A
wife.
help like unto himself.
A help?
And a pillar
Right,
of
yeah,
breast.
but I want to hear
Wait a
about
minute.
like evidence.
So,
I want to hear actual evidence.
Let's talk real. What's
teach
real?
Me. Teach me.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. What do you have to teach me?
We don't teach concubine.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, and what else did you
We
tell me
don't
to say?
teach concubine. That's just what it is. Okay.
Oh, he's your dad.
Let's stay in
Oh,
the
I found
scriptures,
it
right.
out. Oh, that's the one you go home
Let's
to.
let's continue in the scriptures. Let's keep with the lesson. Forget about concubine. Forget about the harlot's wife. Let's go.
Forget about it.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 15.
That's it.
It said, but if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her,
That's good
for
to
her
have long
hair
hair.
is given for her a covering.
It's a covering. Why is it a covering?
because a
Why?
woman is supposed to cover her head.
Why?
Okay, she is beneath the man. All right, always has been, according to the scriptures.
So why can't you put me in my
the
place
scriptures.
right now then? Huh? Why can't you
How
put
can
me
you
in my
say
place
that?
if you think I'm below you right now?
I don't think you're below me. I know you're.
Then why can't you look at
I
me?
know you're below me.
Then why
Like,
can't you look at me?
Let's.
Then
yeah.
why can't you look at me?
It's 2017. I thought we got over this.
Your head's going down.
I thought we got over this kind
So,
of fucking
2
thinking.
Corinthians 11:1. With to God you
I've seen-
could bear
Have you
with
looked in the
me.
mirror? Have you accepted your own demons? Have you ever talked to yourself? Have you ever? Because the only thing I'm looking at right now
Who
is
taught you guys
myself.
this shit?
I want to know. They won't take me to your
Who
leader.
taught you
Take
this?
me to your leader.
Because
So
they
1
were
Corinthians
insane.
11:1. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Hamashiach. Now I pray you, brethren, that ye remember me in all
Like you said, you
things,
knew this was
and
right
keep
here.
the ordinances as I deliver them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach.
The head of every man, the head of every man is Yahweh Shai. Okay, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. He is the intercessor between the man, the Most High, and man.
think y'all
Okay,
guys are just
none can come unto the Father but by the Son. All right, continue.
It says, and the head of the woman is the man.
That's according to the scriptures, right there. All right, that's
The
how it
head,
works.
and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh.
That's the order. The head of the Hamashiach is the Most High Yahweh, and the head of the man is Hamashiach. Again, he is the intercessor between us and the Most High.
Does not say the woman is below man.
Can you tell me how like the universe started? Can you tell
Let's
me
keep
like in
with
the
the lesson.
beginning? What's the lesson? Who told you the lesson? Tell me who is your leader. Tell me
Where do you guys, where's your credibility?
Who do you worship? Who do you
Yo,
worship?
I got
Who do you worship? Like where is he?
Yeah, where's the